Hello, welcome to today's English news program in Azərbaycan Televiziya with the most important events of the day. The upcoming high-level meeting between Armenia, the European Union and US and Brussels is causing concern in Russia, the spokeswoman for the Russian Foreign Ministry, Maria Zakharova, said on Telegram. According to Zakharova, such meetings cause concern for most countries in the region because they are aimed not at achieving peace between Azerbaijan and Armenia, but at further Western penetration with its extremely destructive approach in the South Caucasus, creating new dividing lines there and undermining existing mechanisms of regional security and economic cooperation. It is unclear why the official Yerevan acts as though they do not comprehend as Armenia is being turned before the eyes of the whole world into an instrument for the implementation of extremely dangerous plans of the collective West, which completely diverge from the fundamental interests of the Armenian people, the official representative of the Russian MFA reported. Armenia is being prepared for revanche and able to come to terms with Azerbaijan's victory in the 44-day war. The United States and Europe are trying to create a second Ukrainian scenario and a second front in the Caucasus. Even military plans are being openly developed. This is evidenced by the behind-the-curtain theme of the upcoming meeting in Brussels on 5 April.
The United States and Europe are constantly preparing secret plans to create a second Ukrainian scenario and open a second front in the Caucasus. There are a number of important points confirming this. For example, the upcoming meeting of Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen is scheduled for April 5th in Brussels. This meeting is considered one of the main steps taken to implement the existing scenario. The main behind-the-curtain moments of the meeting attract attention. In fact, an establishment of a military pact that is directed against the establishment of stability and peace in the region is under discussion. From this point of view, the United States and Europe are dragging the region into the new instability and catastrophe through Armenia. One of the main reasons is that Azerbaijan won the 44-day patriotic war and returned its historical lands. Unable to come to terms with this success, the United States and European countries prepared the so-called Kosovo option in Karabakh. Therefore, for 3 years, under the pretext of a so-called humanitarian catastrophe, a pressure campaign was carried out on Azerbaijan and personally on President Ilham. They strengthened the information resources they created in Azerbaijan with illegal financing. European politicians made illegal trips to Karabakh and so on. These were the main components of the secret plan. But since all these efforts have been futile, war plans are now being made openly. The desire of the United States and Europe to create a source of conflict in the region with the help of Armenia always remains among the issues discussed at the table. For example, absurd and crazy plans like the Woodrow Wilson Plan, Great Armenia, that existed at the beginning of the 20th century. Now America has another plan for Armenia, namely to arm Armenia. One of the interesting points is that Iran, which considers the intervention of non-regional states in the region as a red line for itself, prefers to remain silent on this issue. Another point, ultimately the processes may end with the withdrawal of the Russian military base from Armenia. Russia, like Iran, is also silent and does not react seriously to what is happening. In fact, the military pact is an integral part of the plan for pressure and military intervention on Azerbaijan. Armenia is being prepared for revenge, and this is a source of great threat to all the countries in the region. That is, along with Azerbaijan, the pact is directed against the countries of the region, Iran, Russia, and Turkey. From this point of view, the upcoming meeting on April 5th promises risks both for the region and for Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan's Commissioner for Human Rights, Sabina Aliyeva, met with residents of Armenian origin in the state of Khankandi and visited a shelter established by the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection for vulnerable communities. Sabina Aliyeva inquired about the state of ensuring the rights and freedoms of the residents of Armenian origin accommodated in the shelter, as well as those using services outside the shelter, and provided detailed information about her mandate. The Ombudsman's office representatives also monitored the food supply and social services provided to the residents by psychologists and social workers. They reviewed appeals of the persons received during the visit. The Ombudsman's office representatives presented the posters containing information about 916, a 24-hour call center of Ombudsman, to the shelter. The names of another 73 persons who went missing during the First Karabakh War will be announced in the coming days. The head of the Azerbaijani State Security Service, Colonel General Ali Naghiyev, said in an article published in the local Respublika newspaper. It is emphasized that intensive work is underway to determine the fate of 3,890 Azerbaijani citizens registered with the State Commission as missing persons following the First Karabakh War, identify the locations of mass graves in the liberated territories of Azerbaijan, exhume them and identify their remains. As a result of the measures taken, the identification of 107 missing persons has been ensured. We strongly condemn and reject the anti-Azerbaijani allegations in the report called Deepening EU-Armenia Relations, More Europe in Armenia, More Armenia in Europe, prepared by the Friends of Armenia Network, a group led by former Danish Prime Minister and NATO Secretary General Anders Fogh Rasmussen. Ayhan Hajizadeh, spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, made a comment. The Foreign Ministry spokesman stressed that the report distorts all the facts and that the slanderous nature and completely unfounded provisions of the report are part of a dirty campaign against Azerbaijan. Instead, the Armenian government and Armenian lobby groups should focus on promoting the peace agenda in the region, Ayhan Hajizadeh emphasized. Assistant of the President of Azerbaijan Republic, head of the Foreign Policy Affairs Department of the Presidential Administration, Hikmet Hajiv, made a pause on NATO's former Secretary General Anders Fogh Rasmussen on his X account. The so-called report or rubber stamp propaganda piece by former Secretary General of NATO Anders Rasmussen and his entourage, ordered and paid as a client by the government of Armenia and Armenian lobby, reminded me to pause my 4 September 2024 post where payment document of the Republic of Armenia was shared as well. Anders Fogh Rasmussen fell in forgetfulness to attach payment to his report as annex. Money Talks, the post reads. You can get in touch with us via our WhatsApp and Telegram accounts at 051-511-1956, through which you can report events you encounter as well as share your suggestions and comments. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.